Move your butt. Keep going. Just getting in my wood for the evening here. But I was watching some of this coverage on Ukraine. It's disturbing to see, a lot of these news networks still have on these old Cold War generals. And you hear nothing but bullshit from them. It's funny, but it's really sad. But what I was going to mention, like we poured in hundreds of millions of dollars worth of weapons into there. And now when the Russians are doing their surgical strikes, they just took that stuff out in minutes. It's all gone. So our defense manufacturers are just tickled. I mean, they can start stockpiling again for the next conflict. But then I see that damn Zelensky, they got martial law going. And so now he's arming civilians. The way it stands, the Russians know what they're after. They know what they have to do. They're going to take out the military. Got to put an end to this nonsense. But then you start arming civilians and get them involved in this, there's going to be a whole lot of innocent people dying for no reason at all. This is a complete lost cause. It's like some suicide pact that they've got going now. That's just insane. But they ain't the brightest bunch. But we brought that on. But, my God, them civilians are as likely, because the Russians have no interest in civilians. They know who they're after. They just want to get this job done and get out of there. But then you throw armed civilians in the mix. They start firing at the Russians, and they are going to have to take them out. There's no way around it. But that is like I say, it's a suicide pact. That's just foolishness. These people, well, the whole thing is very unfortunate, but the whole thing is our fault. Because the Russians they're going to just put an end to this nonsense. And like I say, they're targeting the military installations, getting rid of all that junk that we sent over. But then you start arming civilians. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Just using them as cannon fodder, I suppose it'll look good in the news. Oh, so many civilians were killed. Well, they have no choice in that situation. If you start arming civilians, civilians are going to die in large numbers. They're probably going to be shooting each other. But that's the pact you want to make. Have at her. Unbelievable, though, to listen to some of the nonsense that they're spewing. It won't end well. But this is the point where you got to say, okay, this didn't work. Our whole theory of putting nukes in there and all this nonsense. And it's funny to read in the comments. People really have no comprehension of what's going on. Like the moment, Zelensky and his Nazi buddies, they really want nukes. Well, he said, if nobody will give us nukes, then we'll make our own. Well, then they had to go and take Chernobyl out because there's, that's just so stupid. They got to learn when to shut up. You got to know when you're beat, and they're beat. But they're going to go down and take a hell of a pile of civilians with them. But we could not leave the regular government alone. We had to interfere. And you would hope that we would learn a lesson from this, but I doubt it. Once this cools down, they'll find some other country to be in there poking around, trying to stir up trouble. We got to learn to stay out of that stuff. But hopefully this will be the end of NATO. That'll be a big step. Then if we're going to pull these little shenanigans, we have to pull it in our own name, and that ain't going to fly. Yeah, it's disturbing. But arming civilians, that's a step too far. You see these old women walking around carrying AKs. Yeah, that's going to really work out well. Yeah, we'll be heroes. You betcha. Nothing but a suicide pact.